This is Meet the Movie Press. It's January the 4th, 2019. On the show this week, Golden Globe predictions, BirdBox Mania, the Us trailer, this week's big releases, and more. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
Is Meet the Movie Press. It is January the 4th, 2019, a brand new year. Welcome back. We hope you had a great holiday and New Year? New Year season? Is it a season? I don't know. I'm your host, Simon Thompson, at Showbiz Simon on Twitter and Instagram, and this is Simon Thompson on Facebook. Welcome back, Scott and Demetri. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Let's do this quickly. We have a lot to get through. First of all, Demetri, who are you? Where can we find you on social media?
On the socials medias, at DMovies1701. You can find me here at Meet the Movie Press. There's also a show, Anatomy of a Movie, which we're not on this week.
And Scott?
Sure.
Who are you?
I am Scott Menzel. How are you, everyone? Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
And hello to
very
everybody in the
offensive
chat.
opening. Very good.
Yeah.
Start
as we need to go on.
Okay. So the other Scott M. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me at We Live Entertainment. Thank you.
Join us in the chat, of course. Ricky is in. Senor Nerd is in. Bobby B is in. The other Scott M should be doing the show. But he also appears to be in there. Jack Dennis is in, so a very good one to you, Miles Teller. Happy New Year to you, sir. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's kick off. Golden Globes are happening. The second most important awards ceremony happening over the next couple of days in Los Angeles. Let's go through each of the categories individually, and let's talk about who we think is going to win that. Let's go, first of all, picture drama. We're just going to do the movies because this is a movie show. The nominees are Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. Demetri, who do you think is going to win?
Being that it's the Golden Globes, I'm going with A Star Is Born.
Okay.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm 100% agree. So we're all agreed on A Star Is Born.
Yes.
Okay, picture, musical, or comedy. Crazy Rich Asians, The Favourite, Green Book, Mary Poppins Returns, or Vice. I'm going to go first on this one. I think picture, musical, or comedy is going to go to Green Book. Not perhaps the most popular choice, but I think that's going to be mine.
I want it to be Green Book,
Okay.
but I think it's going to be Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay.
I think I was going to go with Crazy Rich Asians, but I'm thinking Mary Poppins because it's the Golden Globes.
Interesting.
It's the gold.
Interesting. Yeah, you see, I was torn between Crazy Rich Asians and Green Book, but I really want to see Green Book. Mary Poppins, you know how we feel about that movie.
You know how I feel about it, and I saw it twice.
That is true. Well, I mean,
and my
the two
mom
of us
loved it, by the way. Loved it.
I'm not going to attack your mum. I'd very happily open fire on you, but I'm not going to say anything against your mum. She's a lovely woman. Director Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born. Alfonso Cuarón, Roma. Peter Farrelly, Green Book. Spike Lee, Black Klansman. And Adam McKay for Vice. I'm going to go first on this as well. My personal choice, I'm very, very tied between Spike Lee or Bradley Cooper, but for me, Bradley Cooper is going to just take that. What are you thinking, guys?
If there was justice in this world, there would be Spike Lee for sure. There isn't, and it's going to be...
There is no justice.
Happy
New Year.
A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, but I'm going with Bradley Cooper because we know what the Golden Globes is all about, and they get the stars, and it's...
They're the popular Oscar category.
Puppy, yes, absolutely. No, basically, but also, I mean, Bradley Cooper, he did good.
He did good. I mean, I don't want to take away from
No,
him
he was
at all.
amazing.
Can we just say, I mean, right off the top, for his directorial debut, which could have been sketchy.
You haven't seen mine yet, to be honest with you. So
I
let's
haven't.
not, you
It's
know.
not fair. You're right. Not fair to say against you. But Bradley Cooper did a really engaging, tremendous job for his first time out.
Oh, I agree. I
100%.
mean, this is a category where anyone could win, and they're all great choices.
They are. Well, with the exception of the movie that's not a theatrical release.
That is true. Okay, let's move on. We're going to go and look. We're going to go back to the chat in just a second and find out what you guys think on these categories, and we'll respond to that. Screenplay, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara for The Favourite. Barry Jenkins for If Beale Street Could Talk. Adam McKay for Vice. And Nick, Brian, and Peter for Green Book.
They better not give Roma this, because Roma doesn't even have a screenplay.
Which is, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
So that's just false. In terms of-
Okay.
so
False.
I'm gonna say Barry Jenkins for If Beale Street Can Talk.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. This one will go to Green Book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For me, it was very, very close between Green Book and Vice, and I'm going to go with Green Book because I absolutely loved that script. So I'm going to go on that.
It's a great script.
Okay. Foreign language film. Capernaum, Lebanon. Girl, Belgium. Never Look Away, Germany. Roma, Mexico. And Shoplifters, Japan. I've only seen three of these.
Let's all say this at once.
Roma! That's going to win it. This year, it's not about how good the movie is. It's really about the fact that it's Roma.
Roma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to have actor drama next. Bradley Cooper, Willem Dafoe Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born, Willem Dafoe, At Eternity's Gate, Lucas Hedges, Boy Erased, Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody, John David Washington, Black Klansman. This was a tough one for me. Genuinely really torn. I loved Bradley in A Star Is Born. I thought Lucas was great in Boy Erased, but he was Lucas Hedges rather than anything different, which is great. I love John David Washington in Black Klansman. I'm going to go, though, with Rami Malek. Rami Malek gets it for me. I love Bohemian Rhapsody, and I thought he was phenomenal. So for me, it's Rami. Demetri.
This one's a tough one. I agree because for me it's down to three:
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, Rami Malek, and John David Washington in Black Klansman. I think
Yeah.
the three of them put in great performances.
really strong category.
Again, I'm going with trying to be Golden Globes thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going with Bradley Cooper.
What do you do? Bradley
Where you
Cooper.
going?
So that's
Bradley Cooper.
So that's two for Bradley Cooper. No, one for Bradley Cooper, one for Rami Malek.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Lucas Hedges. I just saw him on Broadway when I was back east. I mean, he's just incredible. But this movie's got zero love anywhere else, so I highly doubt it's going to win here. I'm going to say Rami Malek.
Yeah.
He's going to follow suit at the LAOFCS award ceremony.
What?
By the way, yep.
What? What?
And again, fantastic performance. Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. I mean, three great performances. Boy Erased, by the way, is a great movie. Actor, musical, or comedy: Christian Bale for Vice, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Mary Poppins Returns, Viggo Mortensen, Green Book, Robert Redford, The Old Man and the Gun, and John C. Reilly for Holmes and... Stan and Ollie. We'll get to that later. Okay, so Christian Bale, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Viggo Mortensen, Robert Redford, or John C. Reilly. For me, actor, I wasn't a big fan of Vice. Christian Bale was great in that, but for me, Viggo Mortensen, I think he just brought such subtle ingenuity and a hamminess that wasn't hammy with a capital H to his character in Green Book. So I'm going to go with Viggo. Also, I think he's been treated a little bit unfairly this award season. So,
Oh,
okay.
my God, he has.
So Scott Menzel.
I'm going with Bale.
Yeah, and if I were this is the Golden Globes
Yep.
again. If I were going with my heart, I'd go Viggo.
Me too.
But I'm gonna go Christian Bale.
Okay, actress, drama, Glenn Close, the wife, Lady Gaga, Star Is Born, Nicole Kidman, Destroyer, Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Rosamund Pike for A Private War. Demetri, we're going to come to you first on this one. Glenn, Lady, Nicole, Melissa, or Rosamund?
I'm staying with my Star Is Born theme.
Okay.
And I think Lady Gaga actually knocked it out of the park. We all know she could sing, but I thought she acted her heart out. I thought she was fantastic. And I think they're going to go this way.
I'm just going to say it. I agree with you 100%, and I think she's the only one in this category. This is a bold statement. Who really deserves to be there?
Oh, just have to one-up me, don't you?
No, I mean,
agree.
I kind of agree, but I have to say, it for me was very tight between Lady Gaga and Melissa McCarthy because I loved her in Can You Ever Forgive Me, but I am going to go with Gaga because I thought her performance in A Star Is Born was flawless. Actress, musical, or comedy? Okay, Constance Wu, Crazy Rich Asians, Charlize Theron, Tully, Elsie Fisher, 8th Grade, Olivia Colman, The Favourite, or Emily Blunt, Mary Poppins Returns. Okay, this one we're going to go to Scott first of all on this.
If there was justice in this world again, which there isn't, Charlize Theron would get it for Tully, hands down.
Interesting.
Who's going to get it? Probably. Ooh, this is tough because it's either going to be Emily Blunt or Constance Wu. I'm going to say
Interesting.
Emily Blunt.
See, and for me, it was
Okay.
between Emily Blunt and Olivia Colman.
Okay.
And I'm thinking they're going to edge towards Emily.
Okay.
My heart pick, though, was Olivia.
For me, it was between Olivia Colman, and as much as I did not like the movie as much as everyone else, Emily Blunt also. I'm going to go for Olivia, though, because I loved her in The Favourite.
So freaking
She's
good.
just great.
Yes.
That was my Christmas Day movie
Yeah,
at home.
it's so great.
Loved it. And just, I mean, yeah, great.
It is BAFTA, right? So she has every. I don't know. I
Okay.
think it's down to those two.
Let's go through these other very quickly. Actor supporting, Mahershala Ali for
You
Green
missed
Book.
animated.
We're going to come back to that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have Mahershala Ali, Green Book, Timothy Chalamet, Beautiful Boy, Adam Driver, Black Klansman, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, Sam Rockwell, Vice. Okay, Scott, your choice on this one, please.
Adam Driver.
Interesting.
My heart says Mahershala Ali for Green Book because I thought
Mahershala.
Mahershala.
Forgive me.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why we're
Sorry,
here for you.
thank you. Thank you for the support. My heart goes. I thought his performance was fantastic, but I've also said Adam Driver, and Adam Driver was an extremely bold performance put in by him. I thought he was fantastic in Black Klansman. I'm going with Adam Driver.
Interesting. Okay, for me, it was between, as much as I loved Adam Driver in Black Klansman, and I'm not his biggest fan, it was between Mahershala and Sam, so Green Book and Vice. I'm going to go for Mahershala Ali. Just because I thought he and Viggo had the same kind of chemistry, just it worked in the same way that Bradley and Lady Gaga had.
It reminds me of
flawless.
Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
It was like they were made.
Yeah.
It was like they were made. Sometimes you have a movie where people don't work together all through their careers, and then there's one movie where they finally meet, and you're like, that is just perfect. And for me, it was that pairing. So interesting.
Can I throw this out there for a second? Sam Rockwell and Vice. I mean, I get it. People have won Academy Awards for being on screen for 5 minutes, but he wasn't in the movie. I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the difficulty with an ensemble piece like that, where he's not the main character. But I mean, you know, he
was good.
I thought he was great.
Yeah.
Amy Adams, Vice, actress supporting. Amy Adams, Vice. Claire Foy, First Man. Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk. Emma Stone, The Favourite, and Rachel Weisz, The Favourite. It's a favourite off.
And it's funny because Regina King's going to win it.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Interesting.
I'm thinking they're going to go, it's the Golden Globes, Emma Stone.
I'm going to go Emma Stone on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to go. So I think that'll be
Where's
really
Meryl
interesting.
Streep in this category?
Where is she? No kidding.
For once, there's two films called The Favourite. Meryl Streep's not The Favourite.
Yeah.
Irony. Okay, music, original score. We have A Quiet Place, Isle of Dogs, Black Panther, First Man, and Mary Poppins Returns. A Quiet Place, Isle of Dogs, Black Panther, First Man, or Mary Poppins Returns. Who do you think is going to win? Who would you like to win?
It's definitely not going to be First Man.
Okay.
I know.
Is First Man Marvel or DC?
It is. I'm
Just checking. Oh, okay, fine.
IDC.
Cool. Okay.
So, but I'm going to go with
I am First Man.
I would
And
go
Joel
with,
Firstman from the Hamptons.
I would go with Alexander Desplat because he's always a favorite for these things, but I'm going to stick with Mark Shaman and Mary Poppins Returns.
Interesting, Scott.
I'm actually going to say First Man for this.
Interesting. Okay, I am going to split this. I think I would like Isle of Dogs to win
Me
because
too.
I really love that. I think Mary Poppins Returns, but I'm going to go for Isle of Dogs.
Good.
Because I love dogs.
I like that movie
Okay,
a lot,
great.
too.
It's great.
a great movie,
Got a
yeah.
lot of
Very underappreciated.
Didn't get a lot, underappreciated. Okay, music, original song, All the Stars from Black Panther, All the Stars, Girl in the Movies from Dumpling. By the way, Dumpling's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. It's really sweet. Check it out. Come on, it's going higher. Requiem for a Private War from A Private War, Revelation from Boy Erased, and Shallow. We're all in the shallow now. A Star is Born. I mean, it's kind of a pointless question. I mean, shit. Why haven't they just given Gaga the award already? Obviously, Lady Gaga, Mark Ronson, Anthony Rosamando, and Andrew Wright wrote A Star is Born, Shallow. It's going to be Shallow.
It's going to be.
It has to
Surely.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be shallow thinking if they didn't.
Okay, animated feature.
Shall
Yep,
we
no,
move
okay,
on?
we
Which,
get it.
by
Yeah,
the
we
way,
get it.
real quick,
Yep.
how bad is the music in Mary Poppins that it's not nominated for original song?
I was, I didn't really do it for me at all. Final one on this, and then we're going to move on away from the Golden
don't know.
Globes. The nominees are Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Interesting category this year. Usually there are 2, 3 other ones. And this year, it's a strong category. So I am going to go... I would like Isle of Dogs to win. I think it was pretty much a given that Incredibles 2 would win. I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is going to win. So I'm going to go with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I would love to see Isle of Dogs win. It's going to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so we're all on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Those are our Golden Globes predictions. If you choose to enter the betting game, we don't condone betting. We don't hate betting. We're not saying we're right. Who knows? But that's our guidance for the Golden Globes. We'll find out. Next week, we can come back on the show and we can all be humiliated. But also, I believe there's another award ceremony going on next week that we should perhaps talk about. Hey, Scott Menzel.
Hello.
What are we all doing on Wednesday night next week? What's happening, Scott? What is happening?
So if you're in LA, we're having a wonderful award show. It's the Los Angeles Online Film Critics Society Award Ceremony. It's our second annual show. And it's really exciting for us because we have a great turnout so far.
Got anybody good going?
We do. We got Brie Larson is going to be receiving this year's Trailblazer Award.
Marvelous.
We are going to have John Cho receiving the Acting Achievement Award this year.
He's been searching for that for a while.
Yes, he has. There might be a special honor for someone there as well. There is a little guy who is known for a Bohemian Rhapsody. He might be joining us a little bit. And we got the
Bryan Singer?
Yeah, Bryan Singer. He's there.
Oh,
He has
that's
nothing else to
awkward.
do.
Carry on.
Yeah, carry on. We got some people who went to 8th grade coming.
I went to 8th grade. And
Yeah,
I'm coming.
yeah, there you go.
I'm still in 8th grade. They keep putting me back for some reason.
But honestly, we're really excited about this show.
Yeah.
It's just a... It's funny, last year I was telling these guys at breakfast, we started this show, it was a small thing that came from the heart, and we started off with about 80 to 85 people came last year. It has doubled in size already. We're going to be at about 160 to 165. We got great buzz last year. We got some great coverage coming out. So Us Weekly is going to be at the event covering us, Hollywood Reporter. So it's going to be pretty great. And, it's nice knowing that we're doing something right and we're doing something important, and just everyone who's in this group is really passionate about it. So I'm very happy about it.
Absolutely. No, it's going to be a great night, and we're going to talk about it on the show next week.
Awesome.
Okay, I did say we were going to look at the chat very briefly before we move on. We have quite a bit, considering it's only a 3-day week, really, this week for the industry. A lot to get through. Ricky DeVilla, how's everyone doing from the holidays and break? Hope we all had a good break. We'll be very interested when they get to talk box office. Quite a few bombs and big surprises. Yes. Senor Nerd, first show of 2019. Woo! If this is your woo moment, I don't think your 2019 is going very well, but thank you.
Easy.
But we appreciate
I'll
the support.
take it.
Bob B, Gotti is the generation's Godfather or Goodfellas. I think Gotti is this generation's God.
The room.
Yeah, as in, like, you want to leave the room when it's on? Yeah. Yes, okay, Demetri, woohoo, we're back. And also, Scott, you're in the chat. I'm like, you're supposed to be on the show.
I just always say
Let them
hi.
do the chatting.
Just
Let
say
them
hi.
do the
Just
chatting.
say hi.
Bob B, is Kevin Hart back for the Oscars or what? We will discuss that. Jack
He sure
Dennis.
is.
Hi, Simon. So, what were you saying about Holmes and Watson? Lol. This is going to be what we're going to talk about next. Because Holmes and Watson came out. Wasn't able to give a review. It was under embargo, but you asked me questions. I gave my responses. I stand by the fact that I enjoyed Holmes and Watson. Was it a great movie? I'm not saying it's a great movie. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, it made me laugh. And that was the fundamental thing. It was stupid, like I said. Stupid movie, made me chuckle. Didn't do well at the box office. Not entirely surprised, to be honest with you. It was pretty much hidden by the studio. It wasn't shown to critics, so there was no buzz around it. Instantly, when a movie is not shown for critics, either within the industry or outside the industry, people go, oh, it must be shit. Some people didn't like it. A lot of people, most people didn't like it. Some people did. I obviously posted my review on Twitter. A lot of people, some of my favourite arguments. Clearly, you're being paid by the producers. No, I mean, that'd be lovely, but no. Secondly, can anyone be a critic? By pure definition, Yes.
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 Especially nowadays.
And especially now in the industry. But literally, the definition of a critic is having an opinion on something. So, yes, literally, anyone can be a critic. And now you don't get paid for it. So, yeah. I mean,
That's the thing.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people didn't like it. Didn't get great scores. I had likened it to elements of it that were similar to Mel Brooks movies, just in the stupid humor and the play on words. People were like, how can you possibly say that? Let's not forget, Mel Brooks also made some shit movies. So, his catalogue is not exactly flawless.
You didn't like Dracula Dead and loving it.
No, I didn't.
Come on.
No, I didn't.
I liked it.
No, I didn't.
I liked it.
I didn't.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean,
did you love
so
it?
yeah, so that
They
was
want to suck my blood.
so that was a massive bomb over the holidays.
Yeah.
But not an entire surprise because nobody was talking about it. The studio didn't want to talk about it. Also, rumors that it was offered to Netflix and Netflix didn't want it because it was such a stinker. We don't know whether that is.
Really?
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that. Yeah.
I mean, Netflix
They
have
bought that
plenty.
Cloverfield piece of garbage.
They
Come
bought
on.
plenty of things.
And they made Bright.
And
They
to-
didn't even pick that up. They
to-
just made that on their own.
And to be honest with you, I think people, if it was free, I don't think people would have been quite so offended by it. But yeah, so Holmes and Watson, I thought it was stupid fun. I'd happily watch it again. A lot of people didn't like it. That's entirely fine. What people don't tend to understand is what's really important about cinema is the fact that you make your own opinion up. There is no right and wrong. You might like a movie that someone else likes. They might not like the movie that you like. You might not like a movie that they like. That's absolutely fine.
Sure.
Absolutely fine. If you choose to go and see a movie, especially if you've read bad reviews, you don't really have a right to get pissed off with other people who like the movie
No.
because you made that choice.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, we see awards-nominated movies that I don't... Destroyer is a really good example.
Oh,
I mean, I
Destroyers.
thought Nicole Kidman was great in that movie, but I really did not like that movie. But I like some of Karen's other work. Phenomenal pieces of cinema. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I stand by the fact that I did. It tickled me. It made me laugh, and it was stupid and it was dumb, and that was fundamentally what it was meant to be. There won't be a sequel though.
No, there won't.
There won't be a sequel, but it's fine. Other people didn't like the movie.
I'm going to throw something in there,
Yeah.
though, that what you said, and this could be, I don't know, maybe controversial. Look, you said, can anybody be a critic? Yes.
Yes.
But with certain things, like, I wouldn't necessarily say that I like food, but could I be a good restaurant critic? No. I mean, my forte is movies. That's
Yeah.
what I studied. That's I've been a fan all my life, and it's what I went to school for. I took journalism classes, film history, film criticism classes.
Yep.
So the way I look at it is, and this was in a film criticism class where the professor had said everybody has an opinion, but it's how you back that opinion up.
Yeah.
You just can't say, I hated the movie. Well, the next important question to that, and this is how I engage in conversation, is why?
Yeah.
And if they can't, well, because it sucked. Well, that's not an answer.
Yeah.
They're like, why?
I like
didn't
Step
you?
Brothers. I didn't like this. Well, this is a different movie made by different people,
But you know
written by
what?
different.
But at least if somebody brings up, I liked, because I felt Step Brothers utilized their talents as a partnership better than Holmes and Watson,
Yeah.
I would go, all right, you're connecting dots here. That makes sense. But you just can't go out and say a movie sucked, or for equal measure, I love that movie. Why?
Yeah. I mean,
'cause it was good.
your opinion is really your opinion, but
it
just be able to support it.
Support it.
And if people don't like it, that's
Intelligently.
absolutely fine. It's funny, it does work both ways, and I think now we got the internet, which is very shouty. It's kind of like if people like a movie and then it doesn't get a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes, people get very upset.
Yes.
But then when the movie they don't like gets a good score on Rotten Tomatoes, they get very upset. But then if a movie they like get a good score on Rotten Tomatoes is always right. So, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, it's a lot of opinions and a general consensus. It's a mean figure of basically various scores. And it's fine. Your love of cinema, what you like and how you like it, is completely personal. It's a very personal experience. It's like what you like on your pizza. It's like the person that you date. It's very, very personal. There is no right or wrong. Nobody should all like the whole thing. If everybody likes the whole thing, we're not doing our jobs right.
Right.
If everybody hates the same thing, we're not doing our jobs right unless that's what all those people actually believe.
Right. And again, I would never say I'm an art critic. Cinema is an art form, but I don't go to like LACMA. Look, I don't know. Well, I'll go to LACMA and I can see.
It's because you're banned after the incident.
Well,
to be honest with you,
well, it was.
I did warn you.
It was a good Tim Burton showing and Guillermo del Toro thing. Well,
we need to move on
but
from
what
this
I'm
in just a
saying
second.
is if there's a painting at an art museum, I can like it. I don't know the history behind it. Where somebody else who has far better knowledge than I do about that type of art would go, well, look, let me show you another piece of art, and let me show you why, in a sense, this could be considered as not as good as this, and I'll tell you why. Then I learn something from that. But I wouldn't consider myself an art critic.
But also, in the greatest respect, although I love talking about movies with people and the people who watch this show and general people that we interact with in our everyday lives, with all due respect, I don't give a fuck if you liked a movie or not. I'd obviously like you to enjoy a movie, but your opinion is your opinion. I would love to discuss your opinion.
Yes.
But whether you like or dislike a movie, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, I want to, and I might like a movie, and you might. I really want to know why you disliked a movie that I liked, or you know, vice versa. But whether you like a movie, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Right. Whether you liked a movie shouldn't. Generally, I will take your opinion. It might inform my opinion. It might change it. But I'm not going to, because you don't like a movie, I'm not going to go, well, I don't like it either. I'm not 7.
Yeah.
This is not, you know, everybody likes that kid in the class. Nobody likes that kid.
Right.
And so we're going to all pick on that kid. I'm not, like the movies you like. And if other people don't like them, that's fine. Just know why you like or don't like something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like,
it's fine.
I like the discussion. I don't like the ranting or the insulting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, I mean, just to throw this in and then we can move on.
Yeah.
I just, you know, growing up, you know, I really wanted to do this because I watched people like Roger Ebert and, you know, Gene Siskel, Leonard Maltin, these people who like went to film school, knew their film history, you know, studied film, became experts in it, wrote books on the topic. And I'm sorry to say this, and I mean no offense to anyone who loves this and is passionate about it, but when YouTube came out back in, 2006, whenever it was, and they opened this door to letting everyone who had an opinion about a movie go on there and think that they're a critic, and then people started doing that with blogs, it kind of has destroyed the film criticism world, because while there are probably like maybe 5 or 10 of those people who are really good and really knowledgeable and who went back and did their history and maybe they didn't go to film school, you have, you know, the other 100 to 300 people who are just shouting facts like they don't even know their history. I mean, I'll never forget this. There was someone who was reviewing a sex comedy and said they didn't see American Pie. And I'm like thinking to myself, I don't even like American Pie, but at least like that should not be the foundation either for a sex comedy. You should be going back to the 80s and the 70s.
Porky's 1970s stuff. There's plenty of stuff.
So, but it's just
sexploitation stuff from Australia in the 1970s.
It's amazing how like you just look at people and they don't really have their history anymore, their knowledge, and everything is just
shit,
about
man, old movies. They're all shit.
About everything that's in the now and everything that's pop culture related. No one knows about like the not pop.
And that's what I was getting at from the beginning about critics. Like anybody can be a critic, and then somebody here in the chat even said, it's Courtney who said anyone can be a critic, but not everyone can be a good critic. And you can be a critic of like fine art. You can be a critic of movies, but you should bring that knowledge with you that should go beyond American Pie. And you know, so that is where my passion and love for movies come from. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm not. But I can discuss it in a rational, educated way.
But also, you don't have to go what I refer to as full film wanker, where you're an encyclopedic knowledge and you're there in your smoking jacket with a pipe going, oh, well, I find that the 1921 German film is actually very reminiscent of Holmes and Watson. You find the use of this. I mean, there's those people, and that's great, and I love them for their passion. But you don't have to be that person. You just know what you like.
Enthusiasm and knowledge leads to great things.
And I enjoy watching movies that I don't like as much as I enjoy movies that I absolutely love, because that helps me with my understanding of movies. I mean, I have a friend, and we're going to move on from this. This is the last word on it.
Sorry.
I have a friend of mine who didn't like Holmes and Watson, but their favorite movie ever is White Chicks.
Wow.
And I'm like, I mean, okay.
Wow.
But it's like, okay, good. But you be you. You be you.
I think you're meant for each other.
Yeah.
So in 2019, I mean, just like what you like, know why you like it, and like it because you like it.
Right.
And the same goes for disliking movies. Be confident in your choices. Learn to form the arguments where you can back it up, and not just go, shit. Adam Sandler, we were talking about at breakfast, has made some tremendous movies and some absolute stinkers. And you know what? That's okay. And don't think that the people who make these movies, directors, writers, producers, talent on screen, talent behind screen, don't know when they've made a shit movie. You're not doing anyone any favors by just going, it's X, therefore I love it.
Right.
Be critical. Be a critic, but know why you're criticizing something. Okay, let's move on. I have to give
That was
before
a really
we
solid
do,
discussion, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I'm quite surprised as anybody else is. Before we move on, I just want to give a special shout out to Senor Nerd, who's in the chat. I noticed something that he posted earlier on today. In the final, it turns out in the final months of 2018, Senor Nerd was diagnosed with leukemia. Since it's okay. Since Christmas, I'm spoiler. Since Christmas Eve, I am fully cancer-free. Let's make 2019 and beyond better for my health. Not an elf. And to all here at Meet the Movie Press. Absolutely, indeed.
Thank you.
And do you know how we do that? By friendship, by support, and a dialogue about film.
Right.
Film can be a great comforter, a great support, and
really
a great
can.
place to be educated as well. So let's make that our message for Meet the Movie Press 2019. Christmas Day, everybody. Think back to December the 25th, 2018. Everybody's there. They're having their drinks. They might have put their pants on or not. Everybody's already a little bit tipsy by 8. Grandma's already been a little bit racist. And then a trailer drops.
A little bit.
Hello, let's all sit around the widescreen television with Auntie Elsie and little Brian. Let's see what Jordan Peele off of Key and Peele has got for us. Jesus Christ! So yeah, the Us trailer, as in like, oh my God, this looks terrifying.
Yes, it does.
Did you watch it on Christmas Day?
Yes.
What did you think?
I mean, it looks phenomenal. I mean, it's funny because people are already trying to call this the unofficial sequel to Get Out because there's a
Is it because it's scary and has black people in it?
Yeah, well, also there's that scene with the eyes.
Yeah.
Very similar to that one. But
Eyes.
I think this looks. I mean, this just looks phenomenal.
It just looks so good.
It's just
So
the
good.
cast. Like these are like you know, Lupita has never done anything like this before, so I'm really excited. Winston Duke being in this movie. I'm predicting this right now. I think this movie is going to be the surprise screening at Sundance this year.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Buys tickets to Sundance.
yeah. I mean, Jordan Peele, I'm glad he went with doing another original film as opposed to all those rumors like, can he remake this? Can he reboot this? I'm glad he went with. I'm glad he went with the original though. I'm glad he went with the original.
Oh, you and I both, and it's a really well cut trailer.
Yeah.
And it works. There is a bit of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the Strangers put into this movie.
Yeah.
You don't exactly know what's what, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
For a trailer, it doesn't show its
No, you
hand.
have no idea.
You have no idea. And that, to me, is what was so creepy about this trailer. And I think that Universal has another hit with another great
This is gonna be a
movie
huge
that I
hit.
think is
One
gonna
thing
be
that I
great.
really love most about movies is when I feel something. Now that can be joy, it can be sadness, it can be fear, it can be just a general release into fantasy. As long as I feel something and it really connects with me in some way, I can find appreciation of a movie. Even if I don't necessarily love the movie, if it can make me emote, connect to me in that way, then there's something there. There's something connection with the movie. I think what Us is going to do, it's going to connect with me in the way that I release my bowels into my pants. Because it looks genuinely terrifying.
I just have one
And
word.
there's few things that I enjoy more than a
Shitting your
movie that not shitting my pants, of course. But a movie that genuinely scares me. So many movies. I mean, and it doesn't have to be an R-rated movie. The Haunting, the black and white original Haunting.
Yes.
Seriously, that is not an R-rated movie. No. It's so creepy. Poltergeist is a PG. I mean, that still literally makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. That is really so good and so effective. And this, I think, in the same way, it's not going to have to do anything particularly like outrageous, but I think, I mean, having obviously seen the work previously with Get Out, he has a knack, a Hitchcockian knack of taking something, and the intensity that is there doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be right in your face. Well, I think it's going to be quite in your face, to be honest with you, from the trailer, but it's often the things that you don't see. It's the psychology. It's one of the reasons A Quiet Place really worked last year. Not an R-rated movie, just really highly effective, and I think that's what we're going to see here, and I'm genuinely looking forward to being uneasy in this movie.
I'm just happy that horror recently, especially with Blumhouse, has taken this road where originality, like we don't necessarily always have to do remake a franchise or this. I like original content because, again, it's hard today. We are the audience. We have become a hardened audience, right? When it's so we believe we know what to expect when we go into a horror movie. So if I walk out of something and I was truly touched the way you said, like I was scared.
I've apologized about that. Well, I thought it was a popcorn bucket. I didn't know.
Well, they make bags now.
Stop.
So, it genuinely, I like horror movies that I can walk out and go, that was a really good horror movie. I actually walked out being scared.
Which is interesting about Jordan Peele and Get Out, and I'm hoping this film too, is the one thing that Get Out did, but I think a lot of people have gave it such high praise for, is the fact that it was a conversation starter, not because it was scary, but because it was making a statement, and that it had a lot to say. You know, I love Quiet Place. It's one of my favorite movies of last year. But when I walked out of it, it was just kind of like, that's a very like basic, simple movie. Get Out was very complicated. There was a lot of thought that went behind it. And there's a lot of conversation that kind of, and theories that come out of that movie. I'm hoping the same is to be said about this movie, where it does have some sort of like, I don't want to say a political stance, but some sort of like social stance or something where not only do I feel scared when I watch it, but I come out and I say, you know, that was really effective because it was scary, but also because of these themes that were in the movie.
Yeah, sure. No, 100%. But I mean, you know, someone's Hereditary might be another man's, you know, Exorcist. Boxing Day was
Hereditary is a good example.
Yeah, a really good example. And also The Exorcist. My wife had never seen The Exorcist, and it was the anniversary on Boxing Day when it originally opened in US theaters. So I was like, well, let's watch it. My wife's not a horror fan at all, but we watched Exorcist, and while I do not find The Exorcist even remotely scary, I know it often tops the list of like the most terrifying. And at the time, people were like, you know, oh my God, I was fainting in the aisles. People were being taken out of movie theaters. Some people find that really scary, and I'm really, really happy for them that they do. I love The Exorcist, but it doesn't scare me.
Really?
But when I saw The Conjuring or The First Sinister, I mean...
Those are scary movies.
Mucho popo.
Those are very scary movies, but for me too, since you brought up The Exorcist, that's a movie that I have literally a hard time rewatching because it is scary. The theme of The Exorcist, and it I don't know why, there's something primal about it that really, really chills me. Yeah. And I have a hard time rewatching. I do rewatch it, but it continues to scare in ways that other horror movies that have tried and can't do. But you're right about The Conjuring. You're right about The First Sinister.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And I mean, Quiet Place is a good horror movie.
Even the first Insidious as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how about Saw?
That little kid?
Yeah.
The first Saw movie was so great.
Oh, my God.
Because it literally was something that you didn't think could ever happen.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
Throwaway, fluffy, you know, movies. Yeah. Not big budget, very simple ideas.
Very simple.
Keep it simple, keep it effective.
Yeah.
But us, I mean, when people say to me, how scary do you think Us is going to be? I'm like, depends. because that's what I might need.
That was my one word.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking in the chat when we were talking about the, what I think is really good when we talk about things on this show. By the way, if you want to follow the show on Twitter, it's @MeetMoviePress. So please do that and let your followers know on social media whether you have 16 or 1,600. Let people know about the show because really this is how the show is going to grow, and we really appreciate that. And growth is a really big thing for us in 2019. We have a lot of plans, but a lot of people are talking about criticism. People are talking about criticism and how they relate to their movies and why criticism is important. And also talking about Rotten Tomatoes. Zeno is saying, I think RT is the worst thing to happen to film criticism. It's all about the scores and hot takes and not actual conversation. The worst part is RT itself has been leaning into this. Ricky, a big fan of the show. Preach, Scott. If I speak out on film or write a little pointless letterbox review, I am fully aware that it is nowhere near as well informed or founded than some of the real film critics in Hollywood. But you know what, Ricky? Everybody starts in that position.
Yeah.
And sometimes people develop a nuanced understanding of film where they can go, as I use the phrase, which actually went down very well with Langley, full film wanker.
Yes.
Sometimes that develops into something which is almost a scholastic level of understanding film. And sometimes it just is a tastemaker where you find out you like toppings on your film pizza. You don't like other film toppings on your film pizza. And that's absolutely fine. And some people never go further than me like film.
Right.
And that's absolutely fine.
And
but let's
to
not...
your point.
Yeah, but let's not confuse that, full film wanker, guy who knows what he likes, and me like film are very different things.
Right. But to your point, too, is that the more you watch, your tastes can change.
Absolutely. My taste in movies have changed over the last decades.
I'm sure yours have, too.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Since when you first started doing this, since my reviews on WBCN in Boston or the Boston Phoenix, my tastes have changed.
Yeah.
And
As you grow up.
as you grow up, and as you see more movies, and as you have more things to compare that cinematic experience to, taste changes as you go. This is why it's a wonderful thing to talk about movies.
Yeah.
Because in the whole scheme of things, it shouldn't and it doesn't hurt anybody.
I want to talk about Glass expecting January box office and BirdBox in just a second. But also, Langley is saying the issue isn't Rotten Tomatoes. It's the public at large being too lazy to read or do any cursory work or analysis. Absolutely. I do 100% agree with that, Langley. And also, some people are like, well, the critics say X and Y. Just because the critics say that's just our opinion, we're not telling you what to think. You go, if you want to see the movie, you go and see the movie, and you might like a movie that we don't like. We're not gods.
Right.
We're just people with formulated opinions who mostly get paid to do it. And some people don't. But you go and see whatever fucking movies you want.
And if Cisco
it's yours. A free-thinking individual.
And
if you like it or don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah, and if when watching Siskel and Ebert, if there was a movie that I was really looking forward to and they panned it, I would be disappointed, but it didn't stop me from going to see that movie.
The amount of movies we go and see when people go, that looks terrible, and sometimes we look at a movie and go, that's great, and it's not. Marwin's a great example. We thought that was going to be like awards-nominated levels of good.
First Man.
Turned out to be a stinker. First Man, again, didn't resonate with people.
Right.
So don't let your preconception on necessarily what is in a trailer. If you want to go and see a movie, see whatever movies you want to see. Whether they're coming out now or whether they're from 1921, silent German. Some of my favorite movies of all time are silent movies from 1920s German cinema.
Buster Keaton.
Yeah, Buster Keaton. I mean,
favorite.
The works of
Stan
Harold
and Ollie.
Lloyd. Stan and Ollie, Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Phenomenal stuff. Often will give me way more laughs. I saw The Godfather the other day, a really lovely original print at the New Beverly here in Los Angeles, which is now
I saw
open.
your tweet.
Do go and enjoy that movie theater. And you know what? It's amazing, but also the environment of a movie helps you experience a movie in a different way. So if you've seen a movie in the movie theater and you go, maybe I'll have a different opinion on that in 6 months' time, revisit it at home. See if it's different. Just play around with film. You have the opportunity to do that.
You do.
Find your own tastes. And if somebody reads your review on Letterboxd and goes, bollocks, fine, but ask them why they think it's bollocks.
Yeah.
And just have an open mind. You can really like a movie and still find fault with it.
Sure.
You don't have to go in 100%. Dare not criticize. Just feel free.
And the more movies you watch, the better you become as a critic and as a viewer.
Yeah.
It's you can really appreciate things and understand why the phrase, guilty pleasure exists for certain
Yeah.
movies. Like I'm sure for Simon, like Holmes and Watson is a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
He's not saying it's a great film. Just like
One of my-
I love Bubble Boy, but I know it's not a good movie. It's a guilty pleasure.
One of my favorite guilty pleasures is the Village People biopic, You Can't Stop the Music.
Right.
It's a terrible film, but that movie gives me a lot of joy. So I've watched that movie countless times. Streets of Fire is not an amazing movie, but I love that movie.
Right.
And it's one of Walter Hill's biggest flops.
Yeah.
A massive misfire. But you know what? It gives me joy, and that's fine. But also, one other movie I really want to see is Glass, which is expected
You
to
don't. Interesting.
shatter January box office records. Opens January 18th in theaters, obviously part of the M. Night Shyamalan universe. It's looking at around 50 million for an opening weekend, possibly higher, possibly lower. That's how these things work. Are you not excited for this movie? I'm really looking forward to it.
I was kind of disappointed with Split.
Oh, I was very disappointed with Split.
So the problem is
Again,
that
a movie that people hyped up and went, oh my god, best movie ever. And then when you came out, you went, oh, I didn't actually love that. Like, Philistine!
I know.
Judas!
You have no idea. When we
absolutely.
talked about that on Anatomy, no idea.
It was just, it's weird because I walked out of that movie and I was just kind of like, okay. And then, Glass, I'm going to say that the marketing for this, I remember just going back to freaking Comic-Con, which I don't even want to mention on the show. But when I saw the footage there, it's interesting because it really did sell me. But like, I can't get the disappointment level of Split out of my head. So I'm kind of lukewarm on it. Let's put it that way.
I'm a little bit over lukewarm because I think their marketing has been so good. Now, they could fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that would be a shame on me. Because the way that this marketing and the trailers and the spots have been edited, it makes it look like this is going to be what Unbreakable, to go back to that Unbreakable comic book and the way M. Night Shyamalan had directed that movie. It looks good. I will say that. I am excited to see this. And I'm hoping that it is better than Split.
Okay.
I mean, because I was very disappointed.
I was
with
not a
Split.
fan of Unbreakable when everybody at the time, I remember going to see it in the movie theater. I was living in London at the time. And everybody else was like, they were, peeing their pants over, oh my God, this is amazing. But again, that was M. Night's second movie. So everybody was still on the Sixth Sense train, where it's like, oh my God, we love that. Therefore, that's also going to be excellent. I didn't love that movie. I've developed a liking, like many movies over the years. I've appreciated it more in a slightly different way, and I kind of see what people are saying. It's still not really anywhere near my favorite of his movies. But I'm curious about it, and that's the thing. Sometimes people say, I don't like this because of X, or I'm not going to see this because of Y. I don't like horror. Horror's a big genre.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff within that.
It really is.
So it's like I got into a conversation with someone a couple of months ago, and they were like, Blumhouse movies are shit. And I was like, what have you watched? Oh, I haven't watched any of them. They all look shit. I've just seen the trailers. I went to you're saying that all of Blumhouse's movies are shit from watching the trailers. What about Whiplash? Well, yeah, but that's not horror. I said, no, but you said Blumhouse movies. Oh, wow. And I said, well, what about this? And I named other movies. And I'm like, watch movies. You might not like them, but learn. But don't rule out a genre. It's like, don't name rom-coms. Rom-coms are shit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know.
try it on.
And it's like
Try
you
it
said,
on.
horror is such a huge genre.
Huge.
And it's like comedy. Like I would never associate a movie like Porky's or even American Graffiti with Woody Allen. I mean, he makes comedies, but they're far different than what I was growing up
Broad
with.
umbrella.
Yeah.
Don't like gangster movies.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I met someone called Brian once. He was an asshole. I don't like Brian's.
Like Brian's. What? Then that person
Everybody
will
called
love,
Brian's an asshole.
Yep.
It's like, that's not how it works.
They'll love the life
Okay, we
of
need to
Brian.
move on. Zeno, I was saying, going back to critics, to play devil's advocate, one could argue that critics have a platform that will influence the masses. Joe from Delaware doesn't have that, so the critic's opinion is more valid. Yes and no, but again, no one's opinion is more valid than anyone else's. You personally might find that your opinions align more with somebody else,
Sure.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is a more valid opinion. I mean, it matters how you define valid. Is valid because you agree with that person more often than not, or valid because of the way that they describe a movie? Joe from Delaware might not have the ability to express himself in his texture of liking or disliking of films that someone who has had a slightly different education or exposure to film.
I got
would
bad
make.
news about Joe from Delaware.
Oh God, what's he done?
He's
not on a register,
He
is he?
hasn't seen Roma. He doesn't even know what Roma
Okay,
is.
you know you can't talk about Roma because you know why.
Yeah.
You know why. Okay, let's talk about...
You're right.
How are you going to solve a problem like BirdBox? I met someone who didn't watch BirdBox over the holidays
I didn't
on
watch it.
Netflix.
I didn't watch it either.
I didn't watch it.
Really? I mean, a lot of people are like, oh my God, scariest movie of all time. I'm never leaving the house again. I'm not scared of birds. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was quite as great as everybody else thought it was, which is fine. For me, the third act, I thought just... It felt like a Walking Dead episode more than anything else. I really thought it lost any power that it had. And it was really good for 2/3 of the way through. I thought it was really intense. Got a great cast, a really good cast. But yeah, a lot of people are very excited about it, doing BirdBox challenges.
I don't know what that is.
What's weird about this? I need to talk about this briefly.
Yeah.
This movie premiered at AFI.
Yep.
Right.
And I feel like the buzz out of AFI was so lukewarm. Like, it's why I didn't go to any of the screenings, because everyone was kind of like, it's okay, you don't really need to see it. It's not, it's not going to do anything. And then on Christmas, like around the Christmas Day time, it was amazing, because ever since then, leading up to today, all I see every day, BirdBox, amazing. Oh my God, here's a BirdBox challenge. Don't do the BirdBox challenge. Like, what are they talking about? So, like, I'm gonna watch this movie, and I feel like I'm gonna feel like you did. I'm gonna be like, that was fine when I walked out of it.
My best friend from back home, Rick, he watched it, and he said to me, he goes, it was good. He goes, but I would have never paid, if I paid to see it in a theater,
Yeah.
he goes, I would have been disappointed.
I think some people would have
and that's
felt
why
the
AFI,
same way.
I think you got that
Yeah.
feeling because they're thinking this is going to be released theatrically. But I think that's a lot of Netflix movies. Like, you have to put them in the context of this is a Netflix movie. Like, I saw that romantic comedy.
And someone I can't find the comment in the chat, but someone was saying, what is it with now movies? They have to be either amazing or dog shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, can't a movie be fine anymore? I'm like, the majority of movies that come out are fine.
Yes.
Yes.
They're not really good. They're not
No.
really terrible. They're fine. They're enjoyable.
But this is the problem, too.
It's like Yelp reviews. Like either the food is like manna from heaven, or it's like the chef shat in your mouth. And it's like, isn't there anything in between now? What happened?
The worst thing that can be said to me about a movie is when somebody says, it wasn't great. Well, it doesn't have to be
No,
great.
it's, did you enjoy it? That's fine.
But
yeah,
if everything's great, then...
But BirdBox is fine. It's good. In parts, it's very good. In other parts, it's not so good. But watch it. Make your own mind up.
Let me ask you the question.
I'm confused by the
friend Rick.
BirdBox game, though.
Would you have found it if you
Yeah.
saw it in a theater? If you saw it
Yeah,
in a
I would have,
theater,
because
you
I mean,
feel the same way?
as a story, yeah. If I saw it in a theater,
I think they
would've.
were at a big disadvantage by not releasing this movie in a theater,
And do you
because I
think-
think it would have made a ton of money.
Do you
But you
think
know
they
what?
were afraid of A Quiet Place?
I
No,
don't know.
I think enough time has passed that people would of course say the comparisons to the movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I know there are some. But I do think horror movies, I mean, this movie probably didn't cost that much to produce.
No.
So I think they would have gotten a great box office return, especially with someone like Sandra Bullock in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was great. I don't quite understand the excitement around it. I think a different opinion to you when it comes to releasing it in theaters, because for me, watching it, I watched it at home, and I have a great TV, and I have a great sound system. So to me, that was kind of replicating an experience. I watched it; it was quiet. But if I was in a movie theater and really you rely on the intensity, I remember seeing A Quiet Place. People wouldn't shut the fuck up. They were messing with their phones. They were rattling their popcorn. For me, for this kind of thing, although the theatre environment is really the ideal place to see these things, it can often be where the experience is spoilt for you by other moviegoers. So I think actually for me, I preferred to watch BirdBox where everybody was quiet.
Interesting.
And I could just
Interesting,
enjoy
because
the soundscape, and which is really important because their eyes are covered.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So, enjoy
for
that.
me, a horror movie, especially A Quiet Place,
Atmosphere.
my theater would have been dead because they were, and it wasn't that they didn't have that other distraction. They were so engrossed in the movie that they were screaming. Like, I love seeing a good horror
too.
movie in a movie theater. To watch that wave of
Yeah.
people when they like jump, and particularly coming from Lionsgate, where I went to many horror test screenings.
It was a home of
to
horror
be
for a while.
sitting in the back just to watch how an audience reacts was awesome. And I think that comedy and horror benefit the most from that theatrical
I agree.
I
experience.
just
I
want to
agree.
pick up on something as
Yeah.
Bob B is watching this live. Bob B has made a comment, and please respond to this, Bob. Bob has said, if you have Netflix, BirdBox is a must-watch for sure. So, Bob, taking your opinion that it's a must-watch because it's on Netflix, if you had to go to a theater and pay $15 to see it, would you still consider the movie to be must-watch? Are you influenced? Does it go up in your estimation because of the platform or the environment that you saw it on? Let
good
me
question.
know.
Good
I'm going to
That's
see
a good
because
question.
okay, Bob Beer says a movie theater is like a church. Too right. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Go there. Turn your phone off. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
It's not difficult.
Nope.
Eat your popcorn. Watch the
Nope.
movie. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob B, a movie theater is like a church. Absolutely agree. Bob, if you can tell me whether you saw that in movie theaters would change your opinion of whether it was a must-see or not. Senior Nerd saying the BirdBox memes are fantastic. Yeah, they are. There you go. Opinion on that. Okay, we're almost out of time on the show, actually, guys. I'm just going to wait for Bob to get back. Langley M. Neely saying preach. A little bit of preaching this week, but I just think we want to start off 2019. We're going to be, changing a few things on the show. People like the dynamic. They're enjoying the show. It's really, really good. We rely on your support to make this show even bigger. We love having the community that we have on this show. Let me say that. Absolutely. We appreciate everybody who watches or listens to the show. Of course, you can watch us on YouTube. If you want to listen to us and you don't want to see these faces, that's entirely fine. Maybe you want to play, I don't know, BirdBox, the Meet the Movie Press edition. So just have us in your ears, not in your face. You can do that on iTunes. You can do that usually. You can do that on Spotify. That's there. You can do us on Podcast One, usually. You can find us on Arrow. Lots of different ways to take in this show. But really, as much as we love having the family that we have, and we do consider you guys family, even though, we don't always agree on our opinions, either between ourselves or in the chat room, we want to make this family bigger. We want to involve more people in this conversation, and I think that's really important. That's how we grow as a show, and as hosts and co-hosts of the show, but also as lovers of cinema, is talking to other people who love movies. Right. They can be film, they can be cinema, they can be movies, whatever you want to call them, whether they're throwaway movies or whether they're absolute cinematic classics. We can like them all, we can dislike them, that's entirely fine. But it really is important we get the best conversation when it is the biggest conversation. So don't just like and subscribe and lol or whatever. Do retweets, evangelize about the show, tell everybody in 2019 that we are here.
Sure.
Because if people aren't watching, there is no point in us doing this and being here. And we love doing this, and we love talking to you guys and women, of course, obviously, because we have a lot of female fans on the show. We love talking to you guys and talking about this with you and getting your input and having this discussion. It's really vital. It's really, really important. And the industry are looking at the show, and they're enjoying the show, and it's growing. And we need you to help us do that. We can only do so much. So thank you for your time. Thank you for 2018. Let's build on that in 2019. And let's have an amazing year together. Bob B has come back. It's not a must-see in a theater. I meant for Netflix, although I would have seen it in a theater. So great response there from Bob. Gives that context. And that is what this is all about.
And
so,
we
Demetri,
even
very
inspired
quickly.
somebody. We inspired
Oh,
somebody
God, what have
today.
we done?
No, if you won't mind.
I always
so
worry when I hear that.
Courtney,
Okay.
I don't know, Whited.
Yep.
She actually watched the Us trailer. She took time off because we were talking about it so enthusiastically. We actually inspired somebody to do something
That's okay.
so that they could come back and join in on the conversation. So that little bit, we do move the barometer. We really do.
So thank us
Sure.
And thank you.
Moving
well,
one
thank
person
you.
at a time.
Absolutely.
Hey, whatever it takes is
yeah.
what I say.
That's what we got to do.
Whatever.
I'll do it.
When somebody does something, I'm like, wow.
No.
Okay.
And at dmovies1701, you can support me on the Twitters, and then Anatomy of a Movie will be coming back sometime.
Okay, fine. So thank you so much, guys. At Meet Movie Press is our Twitter handle. Please, if you like or follow any of us individually, also like that account. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much indeed. Demetri, thank you for being on the show again. Where can we find you on social media?
At dmovies1701.
Scott Menzel, where can we find you?
Sure. The other Scott M on Twitter and Instagram. You can go to weliveentertainment.com. There is no LAOFCS weekly this week. We are gonna
LMNOP.
Yeah, we're gonna be back next week. We gotta still plan for the award ceremony, so a lot of time going into that.
And my name is Simon Thompson. You can find me on social media at Showbiz Simon on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. This is Simon Thompson. You can see my work everywhere from Forbes to Reuters to BBC to everywhere around the world. Have a great Golden Globes this weekend. We will find out how wrong we've been on the show next week. Thank you so much indeed. We really appreciate it. Evangelize, spread the word, and watch some great movies. Watch that movie that's in your pile that you've meant to watch for the longest time.
Sure.
Do it. Enjoy movies. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.